Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Still snowing, still cold here in Southern Oregon. So today I'm gonna be answering the magical question that I've been getting like over the last 48 hours, and that is, Tanner, why are you not in Florida? For some of you that don't follow sprint car racing super closely, right now the World of Outlaws have began their schedule out in Florida at the Volusia Speedway Park. I think it's in Barberville, Florida. The annual Dirt Car Nationals, so they got modified. They have 410 sprint cars. They had 360s last week, and I think next week they have USAC and non-wing. So in today's show, I really wanna go over that, but like before we get into that, I got something really cool. I got something really cool to share with you. Okay, look at this. This is really Concord, North Carolina. Oh boy. Yeah, Carly, she was here at the shop earlier, so she got it out. She jumped the gun on me. But look at this. Brand new seat for 2025. And we got it powder coated black. Feels really good. I'm really excited about the black seat, I'm not gonna lie. That is so sick. So of course the seat had to fit in with the car. What's really nice about this, when they build these seats, they are 100% custom to the driver. So they have like a protocol of different measurements and they put them all together, and then that's how they build the seat to my dimensions. And then also they have a custom insert that we're gonna have to pour here in a day or so, but basically it's like all this, it's like this liquid that like sticks together, and you have to sit in the seat and you pour it behind your back, and then like literally it forms to the seat and forms to your back and your butt. And then it hardens up after like 15 minutes or so. You can see over here in one of my older Butlers, that's an example of a seat insert. So you can see it just slides right in, the driver sits on top of it. And that's just huge to have like something in between you and the seat, and something that might give in one of those not as good situations that all of us drivers hope we don't find ourselves in. We are now gonna dive into Florida and why our team, which is based out of Southern Oregon to Barberville, Florida. I want you guys to see this. 45 hours. That's Medford, Oregon, the biggest city close to me, Barberville, Florida. So that's where they are racing this weekend with the World of Outlaws, and then they're back there in like 2 or 3 weeks for Bike Week. Awesome deal. I think that's one of the areas where, you obviously can race this early in the year, or I think of like maybe Texas, anywhere down south, like you have better odds, of course, than anywhere in the country. Like I said, obviously we're not racing out here in the Northwest in February. So that would like simply be number one, a combination of the distance and the time of year with like weather and whatnot we would have to go through to get there. The weather that we have here, but also the weather that we could go through on our drive out. And all three of the reasons I'm gonna provide here, like they all completely work together. And some of you are gonna say, well, Tanner, like what about going to Chili Bowl, or what about going to Knoxville? Like throughout the year, you guys drive, 30 or more hours to go race. What's the difference in travel and 45? And in a way that is a fair question, but it really goes back to the time of year. Like when we're driving out and we're gonna go run Knoxville, we're gonna go run all these races, there's a pretty big guarantee that we're gonna get to run most of the nights because it's the middle of the summer, it's hot, the weather's good, we don't have any chance of snow or rain. But early in Florida, there's no guarantee that you're gonna get the races in. Now for that area of the country, is there a good chance? Yes. But I'm just saying for us, with the risk involved, with us, still being here in Southern Oregon, and realistically, even if you're just in the Midwest, like you're in Knoxville, you still have a long way to go to Florida. So I don't know, for our team, that factor alone is enough to be like, whoa, like is it worth it to go down there? And now the second one, and I think from a fan standpoint, they maybe don't really consider this, but Volusia, being known as the world's fastest half mile. I've never been there, so I can't speak from experience, but talking to guys, they say it's nuts. It is arguably one of the hardest racetracks on equipment in the entire country. Now, when I say that, I am not dogging on the racetrack. I actually think Volusia is awesome. I'm going to race there one day, like no questions asked. In my career, I'm gonna race there, and one day I hope to be a full-time, World of Outlaw or on tour and start my season down there. But for a team in our position, with our location, with where we're at as far as building things, Volusia, I feel like, is kind of just, it's a loss. It really would be a loss. Even if things all went really, really well, it's still not, just not the most ideal situation. I mean, I don't really know how to put it. Like, I'm trying to make it to where you guys can really wrap your head around it. But you have your 410 engines, you know, which we just had our engines rebuilt during the off season. We've been putting all this work in. And don't get me wrong, you can go anywhere and have engine issues or blow up. But there's a difference between, you know, having something happen and going to a place that you are, like I said, the hardest on an engine in the entire country, because you're just so on the gas, you're going so fast, and like the things never even get a chance to breathe. You know, one night there at Volusia, you almost have to count as like a night and a half or 2 nights in your cycle of rotation before your refresh. So like I said, you just have to think of risk. If your team goes down there, and like we've seen it happen to guys go down there and they blow up an engine or 2 or 3, or they're running back to shops to get more to finish the weekend because they're in the points. Like a team like us, like we've been building, and we have some great partners behind us, and we have built up our engine arsenal, but we can't go blow up a couple engines to start the year and get that far behind. I'm being dead serious when I'd say like we would not survive the season. Like there's no way. You couldn't afford to lose a couple engines in the first weekend. So that alone, you know, like the wear and tear on equipment, like it is hard on equipment as well, but the engines is the main thing, because, you know, that's the most important part of your team in motorsports. You got to have a good engine program. And if you just sent off, you know, you just got your fresh motors back, and then, you know, you're having problems early in the year, like I said, you cannot recover. So you have to consider that. I think last night we saw Cole Macedo, their team, they lost an engine. Donnie lost an engine. There's a couple. And then, you know, the 360 weekend, there were several guys that had problems. It's just part of the game. It's what you're signing up for going down there. And like I said, I think all the teams kind of know that. And depending on your situation, hey, you can get through that, or you're like, hey, maybe it's not as smart for us to go do that. So with where we're at right now, at this current moment, this current day, like that alone too would be another sole reason for us to not participate that early in the year and be down there racing. And our third and final reason, you know, Volusia is a big deal, and it's one of the tougher fields of the season, like especially this year. I mean, they have a really, really good car count and a lot of depth. But I think besides the final night, they're all pretty much standard World of Outlaws shows, which on top of, like, if you're like, all right, we're gonna go through everything to get there. We're gonna drive there. We're gonna bring every engine we got. We're gonna bring a couple cars, and we're gonna start the year and get to go racing in February, which would be awesome. I'm not trying to say that all these guys that go and do it are not smart. That's not, I'm just talking about our situation, our team. Going down there, you'd have to run really, really well with the prize money, you know, up front every single night, maybe win a night. I mean, because it's basically just standard $12,000, $1,200 to start shows. I think the final night's 20 grand to win and 1,500 to start. Which again, I really want to make it clear, like, I'm not saying any of that's bad. You know, solid purses, multiple nights in a row. I'm sure a lot of fans. I always hear it's a really great event. Kind of just trying to, I guess I'm just thinking out loud to you guys, but you know, trying to think of things as like running a race team like you would run a normal business. And it'd also be one thing if like our team, we couldn't race, you know, we don't know weather-wise, but like if we had no races scheduled till like April, and those guys out there get a 2-month head start on us, well, like we're gonna be racing here in Vegas in just over a month with High Limit as they're coming out this way. So there's gonna be opportunities to run without having, you know, to travel all the way across the country, kind of spend a little extra early in the year just to get a couple nights in, or, you know, if the weather wasn't good or if situations happen, like you don't even get to race much. So anyway, those are the 3 reasons why you don't see the 18T down in Florida. Again, one of these years we will make it happen. I just think for us, it'll make more sense like when we're actually racing for points, or when we're able to set out and just run a bigger schedule or be located a little closer in the Midwest. But you gotta remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. We're working towards our North Star and, you know, wanting to become, you know, one of the top national sprint car teams. Again, one of these years we are gonna make it happen. I just feel like it's probably more likely when we are running for points on tour, or we're probably located in the Midwest, so we're just a little bit closer. Volusia has always been a bucket list track for me. I just want to know what it's like to go that fast in a 410 sprint car and hold it wide open around that joint. It looks like a blast, and I actually feel like it's a place that I would race a little better than some other tracks. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today. We're gonna keep working away here in Southern Oregon. If you guys are wanting more dirt racing content, I'm gonna link here on the screen a few videos from our 2024 season, some of our most exciting nights at the dirt track, and I look forward to seeing you back here on the channel soon. Deuces.